Hey folks, welcome back to Dig Drive DIY. Today's project has been on the honey-do list for a long time, something we've been debating about and contemplating, and well, we're moving more towards a low maintenance landscaping style with just rocks and simple bushes. And we've got an area over here next to the blockhouse that requires a lot of maintenance, and it won't look nice unless you keep up with it. So our decorator here has decided she wants to make some big changes. I, as the operator, I can get it done, but we're not going to be sure if we like it until it's finished.
Dig Drive DIY.
And you're ready to get rid of this black mulch, number one.
Yes, because this just ends up being a litter box, and Penny likes to run through it and chase the cats and then lay on all the plants like as pillows, so that's not working out. And everything is just, it's like I love the natural look, but it's so much work because it's like everything just keeps spreading and going where I don't want it to. I like the more just natural, little bit unkept look, but still like look like you have a plan type of thing. But it's just a battle to keep it that way because everything spreads so much, and in that ivy it's just completely full of poison ivy. So I feel like every time I work out here I'm covered in poison ivy. So that's a huge concern. That's got to go for sure. And you can see it's climbing up the trees.
And then we kind of dressed it up when we first got married.
Yeah, you parked vehicles. I think there's a picture of you guys used to park right here.
We did. We parked right here in between these trees. And so like you had said, there's just a lot of underlying roots that are really close to the surface, which makes it very, very difficult to dig and plant things in the ground right here. All right, well, there's a lot to do. I think the first thing we got to do, we got to pick all these rocks up first, or else they'll be mixed and everything. So maybe we could just pick them up and pile them up somewhere for now that's kind of out of the way. So it's a new tool time.
Yay.
Let's get that. All right, here is the next new exciting tool. So I'm really excited to try this out because I had Kara in mind for this actually. This is from our friends at Northwoods Fabrication, the guys that make the pull type grater box that I like so much, that's wirelessly remote control with a cordless drill battery attached to it to power it. This is an ATV or a garden utility cart that you could pull with anything, Bruno for example, and you can use a cordless drill battery to power it, and it has a remote control dump feature. So it has an electric actuator underneath that'll dump it. So the problem we've had with the garden carts before is you fill them up full of dirt and then you can't get the thing dumped. Okay, I thought the hitch was lower on here. We might have to do a little modification. Let's pull this over to the shop and see if I can do something about that hitch first. It needs to be lower. It needs to be, tell me when that's level.
Down just a fuzz. That's good.
Right there? Wow, it needs to be a lot lower, huh? I've been waiting for just the right opportunity for this. I had this with a Ranger that I had like 25 years ago. It's a hitch that I made up and it was lengthened. It's been welded on. I haven't used it or done anything with it, so I think this might be the perfect solution. There's a hole right here. And if I drill 2 holes in this, I can just bolt this to this plate. Okay, I got to bolt it on there, but I can already tell it's not gonna, it's not solid enough for what we want to do. It's just aluminum down here. We took some stuff off from the factory and there's a hole right here, so I'm gonna bolt it to this. Okay, I think we now have a proper hitch on the golf cart. It's still not heavy duty like we could do with Bruno, but it's gonna be much better than what we had. And does the hitch pin fit? Oh yeah. Put a little supports in there, bolted it to the top of the step. Needs a battery. So this is a Milwaukee battery adapter. Let's give her a whirl. That's pretty smooth. Wow, that dump's pretty steep.
Yeah.
So David makes these up in Minnesota. They're all American made. He does it right there in his shop. Like I said, he's got the pull type grater boxes and now the little dump trailers. They're not the heaviest piece of equipment out there. They're not the lightest, but he has his equipment priced accordingly, which makes it really affordable and something very versatile and handy you can use. So I use the heck out of that pull type grater box of his for real, and I think we're going to use the heck out of this. So, all right, let's go try it. So when you load this, I would, to avoid like putting excessive load on the tongue, just like start in the middle of the trailer and then let it roll each way out.
Okay.
And it should be fine.
Does it matter? Because I'm thinking of kind of basically leaving this rock here and then taking this right up next to like the tree roots and coming back like that.
I would just take them all out because I can't
You
grade
would,
all.
and just redo it all.
Well, are you going to leave all those lilies in there? Or what's those?
No, the tiger lilies are coming out. They just, I'm constantly, they grow all out in the driveway.
Well, if all
And
that's
so I
coming
have
out,
to-
then we'll take all the rocks out.
I'm thinking of something more like hostas or
I would
something
say
that doesn't spread. so
Take all the rocks out, we'll dump them in a pile, and then we'll put them back when it's all said and done. All right, well, I didn't really intend to do the ultimate test on its first load, but we got all those rocks out of there. And believe it or not, all of them fit in this little dump wagon. So we need to dump it to where we're gonna pick most of them back up. Do you wanna put it behind the barn or something?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think they've got a little bit of an inhibition here. Or not an inhibition, but you got a little bit of a situation. Whoa, whoa. You got it, it's empty. So honestly, I would have used a tractor and the front end loader to do that, but honestly, you would prefer this,
Yes.
right? So that's what this is geared towards. All right, we got a lot of work ahead of us yet, but it's time for lunch right now. So we're back on another day. We got all the rocks out. It's been a couple weeks probably, or two, but we're trying to hire some new helpers to come out and help us. So we're gonna start out on the poison ivy side, doing a little removal here. We're gonna keep a couple of these bushes. Kara's got a few other plants and herbs that she wants to save, so I'm gonna dig those out by hand, get them potted up, and then we're gonna use some mechanical assistance to get in here and start ripping and gouging. Now obviously we don't wanna do too much damage to the roots of these trees right here, but believe me, I won't be able to hurt them unless I really dig in. But these trees are terrible anyway. They are hackberry trees, and if Kara had her way, she'd probably cut them down anyway. I've hacked at the roots of these trees, I don't know how many different times working on the driveway. It doesn't bother them. You know what we need is one of those little miniature skid steers to work in here. That would be perfect. Like that. Okay, put your bucket down. Turn that way a little bit. There you go. You can do it together, like up and curl. You can move, do two things at once. There you go. They're out. There you go, good job. Okay, we'll bring it back over there in case we need it. Okay, you can slow the engine down. Idle it all the way down. You always want to slow it down and then you can shut it off. Yep. All right, go for the ivy removal.
I will not miss this.
It just kind of takes over.
Oh my gosh, it's just crazy how quickly. This all came from a couple little starts from Mom and Dad's old house. And I remember I was looking, for free starts of things and just wanted to start my flower garden. And Mom warned me, she's like, it's very invasive and it takes over quickly. And I thought, oh, but it's so pretty, I want it. Of course, this is the best this has ever looked.
It does look nice.
It's like thriving, and then we're going to dig it out. And
So yeah, wait till
it'll die.
20 years to look wonderful,
Yes.
and now we're gonna rip it out.
Yeah.
Are you gonna use this somewhere else?
Well, I just don't have anywhere to just plop one bush. See, I think there used to be two of them at one time. One
Yeah.
died out. It was like so many things have died out, and there's no rhyme or reason to anything anymore.
But the weeds seem to they thrive.
They thrive, yes. You think we're there yet, or
Close.
getting close?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try to tuck, and then you're just going to kind of gently go around and just tuck the sides in. Okay, Dad. Next, you can take the rocks out. The bricks will come, the bird bath, and we'll go work on lunch.
Obviously, this is something new and different to our channel. And to be honest, I haven't had enough time on it yet to really talk about it all that much. It's a Baumalight mini skid steer, as you can clearly see. It's the little Yanmar diesel in here, so it's a cousin actually to the 755 John Deere because it's got a Yanmar diesel in it as well. And I really think that these are going to be the future, but I'm going to talk a lot more about it. I got a whole neat video plan in my head for it, so we're just going to get familiar with it and use it, and you might see it pop up from time to time, and then when I have a strong opinion, I'll talk about it. But you know, this wasn't given to me, it's a trial thing, and we're just going to experiment with it and try to learn if it's something that I think is of value. It's pretty cool though. The girls think it's cute. Lunch is ready. We're all done with lunch. Now it's time to rip out these brick steps that Kara and I so carefully and meticulously put in for our wedding in 2003. These bricks are from your mom's grandpa's place. So you can get in there. Elle, why don't you go back there and I'll hand them. We'll just make a little chain. You stand right there, Eva, and hand them to Ella. Okay. Now we'll have them if we want them for anything. All right, good job. You can back this up and take it over there. Rev it up.
I know.
You can see it now how much it's kind of raised up.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The dirt's pretty high in here. And we added a lot of dirt. We're going to try to take it down, what? Probably 3-4 inches below the sidewalk is what I'd hope for.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to start out with the big paintbrush and work my way down. I might have to use the little paintbrush to get in the corners and the edges. You know, you do the rolling with the big one and then do the trimming with the little one, maybe. We'll see. But this one can only, the only one can reach in the dump truck. Well, I'll see what I can get here with the skid loader yet, and then maybe I can use the mini, and you have to do some handwork like behind that tree or whatever we're going to do around that tree. Of course, you're not going to have a planter behind that tree, so, but we got to get all that
Yeah,
vegetation
because
ripped
it'll
out
all
of
be
there.
stone back there, I think.
Okay, we're bringing out the big guns. Said we're bringing out the big guns now. Let's see if I can rip the roof off the blockhouse.
The cat.
Gonna get on the roof of the blockhouse. Well, can you believe an entire heaping dump truck load of dirt and debris came out of there along the blockhouse? We exposed a lot of roots, but like I said, these trees are not our favorite. And then my philosophy goes like this. If it's a tree that you really want to keep and you love and you don't want anything to happen to, you just breathe on it wrong and it'll start to die. But we hate these trees and what they do to everything because of the hackberries. And so I can get as rough as I want and they'll probably thrive. They'll come back stronger than ever. They're like a weed. These are like weed trees. Is that enough for tonight?
Yeah, getting hungry.
I'm getting hungry. So we're done with the excavation, I think, of all the plants and whatever else was in there, the roots. We had to dig behind the trees and it was a mess. But we're gonna fill this in with some compactable stone and then we'll top it off with the stone we use in the driveway. And then once we get it all stoned and flat and all a clean slate, then we're gonna think about moving on to what we're gonna do landscaping wise. So that'll be phase 2 coming up very shortly for you. All right, we're back on our new day. You know, we spent almost an entire Sunday just cleaning up around these trees. The idea was to trim off the roots that were protruding up through the ground so that they wouldn't be sticking up through the new stones that we're gonna add. And we spent a lot of time, fortunately the girls were helping Kara and I, but we spent a lot of time kind of cleaning out the dirt around the base or the trunk of these trees because we had flowers planted in there and we had added dirt over the years and it was just really built up around the base and we want it to look like just stone driveway all the way around. So I had to really excavate around the bottom, generated an entire load of dirt that I hauled over to my parents in the F-750. I have just went to the stone quarry this morning, got a load of 73s. We're gonna dump it in here, get it leveled off and hopefully be ready for any rain and then we can scratch our heads and think about what we're gonna do next. So these are an Indiana number 73. It's got 3/4 inch stones, basically down to fine powder. And I like using this as a base where I'm not gonna have a lot of heavy traffic. This will pack in real nice and tight. I can wheel pack it, and then hopefully it'll support the top layer of fines that I'm gonna put in there because I'm gonna put either number 11s or number 9s on top there, a wash stone and clean, and that'll complete my look. But this has to go down first. I'm gonna try to keep it below the finish grade by an inch or less, and then we'll just top dress it later, or I'll top dress it with stones that I already pulled out of the driveway. But I'm gonna get them in there and then we'll pack it in. What do you think? It looks drastically different than what it did.
Mm-hmm. It's very plain.
Do you have regret?
I don't know yet. It's hard to tell.
Before you said you couldn't tell what you wanted to do until I wiped it out and made it a clean slate, and now that it's a clean slate, you don't know whether you like it?
Well, it just feels like you really see how junky this is.
Well, because
Like
this
your
junk
eyes
was
are-
overpowering that junk, so now
Yeah.
this clean slate makes that junk stand out. Well, the point of it is we're not done yet, right?
Yeah,
We had to get
sure.
it down
Yeah.
to a nice clean starting point before we could move to the next step. And we're gonna be looking for suggestions on, what we should do. She's planning on doing some raised cedar flower bed.
Yeah, the girls just love coming out, when we're fixing stuff, coming out and picking herbs or grabbing a tomato or whatever. And so it's like we want a garden, but I don't want the responsibility of a huge garden. The only bad part here is
The trees.
I'm hoping that there's enough sun.
I think we can generate
Get it
enough
figured out,
sun.
yeah. Hopefully.
We'll see. But
yeah.
this is the focal point when you first pull up to the house. This has got to be kind of aesthetically pleasing. We want it to be nice. To me, this is like a truck right after you've painted it and you haven't put on any of the accessories yet.
Yes,
The wheels
exactly.
aren't on it. The masking tape
Yeah.
hasn't been pulled. You know, there's just the base color is boring and plain. And right now we got a base color that needs some accessories. All right, well, I want to thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope that you liked it. It's been a bit of a struggle, but if we're lucky, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Cookie time.